Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hello, all you beautiful souls out there. Welcome to another enlightening episode of Voice Rising, where we explore the transformative power of voice and music. And today, I am delighted to welcome the incredibly talented composer and pianist, Rebecca Harrold. She's based out of Bentonville, Arkansas, and Rebecca is a celebrated musician whose new album, The Tree of Life, was beautifully recorded and produced at Imaginary Studios in Windham County, Vermont. And we're going to be diving into the inspiration behind this captivating collection of compositions and exploring the themes of healing and transformation through music. So join me in welcoming Rebecca to the show today. Welcome, Rebecca. So good to have you.
Thank you so much, Kara. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear your voice. And once again, congratulations on your new album. You have a lot of albums out there. So yeah. So share with us, well, at least more than one, right? I think share with us how many albums do you have out there that we can enjoy?
Two.
I think how many? Two? No. Isn't it? Really?
I'm in the process of working on my third one. Yeah.
That is so cool because I feel like you already have at least five.
I know. Well, some days I feel like I have five. I don't know.
Yeah. It's so funny. You've just been accompanying me for many years with your music, and that's why I guess I know you have this new album. But I know, your music for at least over 10 years. So I was like, she's got to have at least a million albums. Yes. So tell me, Rebecca, what inspired you to create this, your latest album, The Tree of Life? So where was the inspiration?
Well, my first album was The River of Life, and the river led me to the tree. I was thinking about it. I was like, the tree. This album actually has a lot of different genres and different styles, and I started it 7 years ago, like pre-pandemic, and that
hallelujah.
That was kind of what happened through the pandemic. I finally released it. It has been a long train coming. And I kind of felt like my first album was squarely planted into the new age genre, and which I'm not unhappy about that. And I totally get that the music has that feel. But I've always, when I started to do some of the music up at Imaginary Road on this second CD, I know that there was some uncomfortableness about my styles, just because I like rock, I like blues. I think you might relate to that as a singer. I feel like my voice has always gone in a different way than my classical piano. And so it was a real challenge was a challenge for me to stay with that and stay true to my artistic vision. And then get interrupted by this doggone bug, the bug that bit the world.
Yeah,
Everything just stopped. We
everything
weren't doing
just
much of anything.
No, it just stopped. It might also be why you're now, I don't know if that's the reason why you're in Bentonville, because you used to be on the East
Yes,
Coast.
it is.
And
Exactly. That is exactly why I'm in Bentonville. Yeah.
yeah, it was just, we are still, or I believe we are still healing from this lockdown, shutdown. Our nervous systems are still learning to breathe deeply and to trust.
Yeah.
And I think, the tree of life, what's so beautiful about the tree, itself, is that the trees, at least the one outside of my studio window, it's over 105 years old, and they teach us to go slow and steady. It's like you don't have to get a quick, like the river can be slow,
I love trees.
but when the river gets really, really slow, sometimes she starts getting stagnant somewhere, But the river needs to move and rush. But the trees, they root, and they root in one place. And they grow for many, many years, and they survive storms. I mean, the ones in Berlin that I'm looking at right now, I'm sitting in Berlin, you're in Arkansas, and the producer of the show is currently in Brazil, which is just amazing.
Brazil?
We have an international happening here.
What part of Brazil?
Well, I mean, I think OMTimes they're international, but in the moment they're, I think, in Bahia, but they're also on the East Coast many times.
Oh, Bahia.
Yes.
I've been in Bahia. I went to Bahia.
Very good. Very good.
I visited Olodum.
Oh, nice.
Olodum, the famous drum corps. Yes.
Yes.
But
exactly.
That's awesome. I love
that.
So
the trees, they basically, we really went out on the limb in the last few years, so to speak, and they're really rooting us, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like, I want to share with our listeners, one of the tracks, but from the work that I know, you sound like your first album was, I believe, only piano, correct?
I had some ambient vocals, but no lyrics, really. Nothing lyrical.
Right.
Yeah, that's why this one took a risky turn.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, I would love to play, first of all, from your roots, let's play the title Rhapsody, and then we can go more into your process also as a songwriter and as a vocalist, and then share with our audience other songs off this album. So do you want to say anything before we listen to this track? Or do you just want to dive right in?
Well, be rhapsodic. Just let yourself be moved by the music. That's why I wrote it.
Beautiful.
A rhapsody is a very spontaneous, emotional response to something. It doesn't even need to be music. It could be a painting. But when it's rhapsodic, it overtakes you.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Have at it.
All right.
Let's
have at it.
Taken over.
Let's all surrender out there. Okay. So this is a track, Rhapsody, from Rebecca Harrold's new album, The Tree of Life.
Yeah.
beautifully rhapsodic. That is Rhapsody, which is by Rebecca Harrold, who's with us in studio today. So that's a gorgeous song.
Oh, thank you.
So,
play it with.
Yeah. You used to play it with dancers. Yeah, you did a lot of work with dancers. You were basically, as far as I know, a live accompanist for it the Boston Ballet Company?
Boston Ballet. That's where it really took a lot of my songs took form in those studios, I would say.
Yeah. Yes, so you have in the liner notes, Rebecca, of this album, you talk a little bit about the divisions that you see in the world today. So how did that weave itself into the concept of the Tree of Life? What are your thoughts on all these divisions?
What I was really intending was for there to be the Tree of Life is like a place where there is no divisions, and especially in music, I felt like all these genres and all the different styles that I play, I wanted them to have a voice. I just wanted to have a place for them to play. And for me, music is that place where there doesn't need to be division, and I don't think there needs to be separation. I understand it from a business sense. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand it from a business sense. But from a creative sense, I think it really usurps our creative passion, our creative fire, when we start dividing out what it is that we do so that it'll go a certain place. I mean, in all honesty, we don't really have any control over where the music goes. So that was my thought. It was just that let's give it a try, and that's my vision for the world, that let's all get along.
Well, I think for our listeners, that who are not musicians, they don't realize that as musicians, we're often kept in a certain genre or box, like you said, that makes it easier for the business. But imagine if we're cooks and we're just cooking the same, let's say, even if it's a delicious sourdough bread every day, right? But we never do Chinese, we never do Italian, we never do pancakes. We just don't we don't allow ourselves to have those different tastes, or those different, we don't have a salad because we're always eating just that sourdough bread, right? And I think what I used to say, because for people that might know a little bit of my music, it's the same kind of thing that I was, doing whatever it was, whatever boxes people wanted to put it in, from jazz to classical to, whatever it was. I remember I told one interviewer, I want to wear the shoes, not the boxes. And he was really confused. But I was like, I don't want the boxes,
I like that analogy.
It's like one of my quirky.
I'm a shoe hound.
Because I'm a quirky girl. And imagine that you just have one pair of black pumps and you're not allowed, right? You're just not allowed to wear the flip-flops or the plateaus, or, because somebody has an idea of, but you're only a pianist. So what was it like for you to then go from playing piano and well, not only playing piano, but being a composer, and also being a composer who's improvising live in spaces, like with dancers? That's a very unique thing, to getting in touch with your, not only your singing voice, but your own words, what you want to authentically express. What was that process like for you?
Challenging.
Yeah.
lots of tears. Well, it was up at the studio. The guys were great. They were very encouraging, but I don't think that I have not had that much experience singing in the recording studio.
Yeah.
So that is that's a whole different ball game. So it was challenging for me. I was praying a lot, praying a lot. And as far as the vocal lyrics and coming up with the words, one of the songs is straight up. It's a verse out of the Bible. It's Psalm 1. He shall be like a tree. And I just kind of took artistic liberty. God, don't strike me down with how to phrase certain things. I just rewrote it in my own kind of way, like a story. But of the two that you chose, those are love songs about God as well. They're about the way that I see God sees me.
Right.
And so I've always written from a different perspective, and sometimes people don't understand it. They think love song, who's it for? And it's like, well, that's a love song that God is singing to me. Actually,
Beautiful.
The one song, Anything for You, I just was so overtaken by God's compassion toward me. I was moving around a lot. I haven't seen you in 8 years, my dear.
Oh,
8
yeah.
years. I was in Berlin 8 years ago.
Yeah, I saw you in a concert in Berlin. Exactly.
In Berlin.
And how many moves have you done in 8 years? That's the infinity number. So how many moves have you done?
I have done 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th.
Yeah, that's a lot of moves. Yeah.
When I moved, but prior to that, I was just clinging to the fact that no matter what, I will be taken care of.
Right.
Because I know He'll do anything for me, and that was really the consolation that I felt. Because it just felt like my world was being topsy-turvy everywhere I went. I was like, okay, new living room, new backyard, new everything, new neighborhood. I'm just like, what is going on? And then I just clung to that fact that, well, He's the same today, tomorrow, and all eternity. It's the divine. It's all the same, and He'll take care of me.
Did you have to move with your grand piano, just out of curiosity, or did you have? You don't have a grand piano. That's only in studio.
I don't have a grand piano. I do. I have an upright piano. I wish.
Yeah.
This is my dream, to get a grand piano.
Nice.
I have found a ballet here in the Ozarks, and I'm playing for them. They actually just received a grand piano as a donation.
Beautiful.
The gentleman, the artistic director, got it for me. So I feel so blessed. He's like, we want you, girl. We need you down here.
Nice.
And, it's a really, really opulent grand piano. It looks more like a harpsichord in that it's painted very extravagantly, sort of like the Renaissance period.
I think that suits a composer who likes to wear fancy shoes.
Fancy shoes or no shoes.
Yeah, barefoot and free. Rebecca, let's listen then. Now you shared a little bit about Anything for You, which was really about this space of deep, not only deep trust and faith, but this understanding that God He has your back, right? The universe has your back. God's got your back. So let's listen to your track off of the Tree of Life album. It's entitled Anything for You. And here you're going to hear, Rebecca's voice coming into her writing.
It's coming.
Yes.
I would do anything for you. I'd pull all the stars out of the moon, and I would give everything to you. It would always be true to you. I walk walk the ocean shore, looking for that open door. Waves of doubt get washed into the sea. Clouds gather darkening, world's ways keep wooing me. All my fears give way to honesty. I would do anything for you. I'd pull all the stars out of the moon. I would give everything to you, and it would only be true to you. I'm not sure how I feel. Is the heaven that I learned still real? Will I smell the sweet rain passing through this pain? Wandering doubts fly by, never asking why. Am I satisfied just to die? I would do anything for you. I'd pull all the stars out of the moon. I would give everything to you, and it would only be true. I would be true, always be true to you.
Anything for you off of the new album, The Tree of Life. Yeah, Rebecca, do you have a daily voice practice or a singing practice, or is it something that just erupts and comes when you're in the mood?
Well, songs definitely erupt and come when I'm in the mood, or even when I'm not in the mood. But daily practice, like at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why
Exactly.
now?
Exactly.
That's some of my best material. But the daily practice, I have actually just started. I decided I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take this day by day and learn about my instrument. Like you and I think we started having Zoom lessons before Zoom was even popular, or Skype.
That's right.
Or something.
It was
You and I,
probably
we were
Skype or Zoom or something.
We were blazing trails.
We were blazing trails, exactly. So what?
Before anyone.
I mean, I have this theory after working with, literally thousands of people all around the world, right? And thousands of voices. And also as a songwriter myself, knowing how scary and how fragile it is to really express our deep heart, what we really feel without putting any filters on it. And that now we get back to the business. There's a lot of people that are writing songs. They're just like, hey, I'm going to take a theme and I'm going to, do my 32 bars. Or I'm going to do my little, my little hook. And there are people that are literally writing in the moment in ChatGPT. It's very scary. But there are people like you and I, or Joni Mitchell, or Laura Nero, or a lot of other great writers. And they're Carole King, and they're really bearing their souls. And so my theory is, and maybe you tell me if this resonates with you, there's a lot of big voices out there that we know. Let's say Whitney when she was young, Celine. But they were not writing their own tunes. So
this
period.
Is true.
And then there's a lot of songwriters that we know, from Leonard Cohen and Sting, and I'm trying to think. I guess we can't say this about Joni because she had a very, very expressive voice. But like a lot of the songwriters, they have a smaller range and they have a more constricted voice. And my theory is that the voice is there as a guardian and a guard for our deepest heartfelt emotions. And when the singer's voice is really, really big, then the protective mechanism is I relate to the song, but I didn't live it while writing it. And for the songwriters, it's more like, okay, I am putting the truth out there. Like, for example, Leonard Cohen, incredible poet, but I'm not going to stretch the voice. And for me, the thing that always was so transformative is when I could dare to have my voice as flexible, big, and a huge range as much as the emotions that were running through my body, and at that crossroads between incredibly honest lyrics and very, very big expressive vocals. And that I saw time and again when people went into that place. It was like giving birth to their soul. I literally, when I was coaching, I felt I'm midwifing the birth of a soul. And there was no playing safe anymore. So how is it for you? Do you sense a different? Because I definitely sense when I'm really, really, really honest with my lyric, my voice is in an earthquake in the beginning when I'm singing it. And there are some songs I haven't been able to even sing on stage because they're that powerful.
Raw. Yeah,
that raw.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is it for you? Which are there certain songs that also you've that are lying either unfinished because the emotions were just too raw still, or
you're hitting the pulse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. A song I wrote through the pen when I moved out here. It's sitting on the shelf because I just haven't really I haven't figured it out yet. Like what was going on, but I feel like I am at that precipice or that crossroads where I'm determined to, I put myself on par with, like, this is gonna sound funny, but like Tom Waits, like that man has got like the most, and Lyle Lovett, like all these people that are not like known for like, oh, they have the best voices, like Luther Vandross or, the smooth as silk. But I want to grow in being able to tell the story, and just however I can tell that story, whether it means I go big or not, I'm trying not to think about that because it freaks me out. Now, I was trained operatically.
Yeah.
And so my training with opera was, it kind of tripped me up with the pop stuff. I just think I made the wrong choice when I was in college. I think I just made the wrong choice. And I'm a big girl now and I could admit it. I probably should not have, majored in opera. I love operatic music. It's the most gorgeous music. So it did help me with my writing in that way, because I feel like I love to write those rhapsodic piano parts. Yeah. And that's the other thing for me as a singer, and this is what I'm working on. I've only just 2 months ago, I stopped sitting at the piano and doing my vocal warm-ups because somebody said to me, singing is a leap of faith. When you have nothing to get your note from except what's inside of you, that's when you're going to start growing as a singer. And I've started to really, my next album is going to be a lot different singing, a little bit more bluesy, a little bit more rocky. But I'm excited about it because it's helped me to learn to use my voice as an instrument rather than rely on my piano to help my voice be buffeted, if that makes sense. I've always used my piano to sort of surround my voice.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that you used your piano also to support. Anybody who's studied voice knows that often there's the teacher is playing scales or warm-ups using the piano, a piano accompaniment. And yet there are many cultures where that's not true, where they're doing acapellas, acapella music, where they're working with drums. The thing is, which I find is really interesting, what you said, a leap of faith, because I also think that many people, singing in front of people is one of the most terrifying things. It is,
Yeah.
if you research this, so people really literally say that if you ask someone to sing in front of, strangers, they will literally say, I prefer basically to die than to ever sing in front. I mean, it's
Phil,
that
lay me down.
vulnerable. Yeah. And I think that, it's a leap of faith because everything is so exposed, and the
Yeah.
channel to our heart, there are no masks when you sing. You can tell if somebody's kind of faking it. And the people that really touch
Yeah.
us the most, for a long time, I had the whole Voice Your Essence, the training, and it was basically exactly that. How can I have the courage to be authentically me in this
Yeah.
world where everybody wants you in a way to be something else, right? The easiest thing
Yeah.
would be for you to do a second New Age piano album. That would be easy,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you
Right.
chose
Not
the
what I
path
had.
of the either the path of the river, which is like, let's see what it's like to go around the bend and not know, as John Donahue said in a beautiful last poem, which was an unfinished poem. It said something to the effect, I want to live my life like a river, always surprised kind of by, I can't remember if it was its own unwinding or basically, you're in a river and you don't know what's around the bend. You really don't
No,
know. And to allow
not at
ourselves
all.
to keep that freshness, right? As we and to really be artists, because I think that painters are allowed to make little sketches and
Hmm.
they get to have the blue phase and the oh, I'm
True.
going to be
Point on
abstract
the
and I'm going to be realist.
yeah.
Talk about in the music business. Can I do an abstract album and then I'm going to go and do a classical album, and then I mean some artists
Oh,
like
yeah. Linda
Yo-Yo
Ronstadt.
Mom, yeah,
Yeah.
they managed, but it takes a lot
Mm-hmm.
of chutzpah and it takes a lot of yeah. I think it's also it's a different time because a lot of the artists now were, unless you're Beyonce, you're really having to push your own music out there, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of independent artists.
Independent.
The labels have kind of fallen apart. Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
God, yes.
Yeah,
Spotify is the label, but yeah. I mean,
yeah,
when I think of like my favorite singers were the ones that were just really intimate. Obviously the bigger voices like Whitney and all of that, they
yeah.
just knock your socks off. And it's just something super natural going on there, girl.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? When
Yeah,
I hear her singing, I'm like, geez, Louise, it's a chorus of angels inside that woman's body.
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know but then like Janice Ian at 17, I learned the truth.
Gorgeous. Yeah,
you know
yeah,
just a whispery, let me tell you something, and it ripped my life apart, because at 17 I learned the truth too, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just, those are the kinds of things. And if I can write, like, I got a song, and I heard that this had happened to Stevie Nicks. I'm not comparing myself to
Yeah.
her per se, but this one experience that she had when she wrote Rhiannon, it was
Mm-hmm.
given to her like in a vision. And then she found out much later that it was actually a story. There was actually a story about this person.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
similar thing happened to me, and it'll be on my next album. It's called Saugus Song, and it was completely unbeknownst to me. I just sat down by a river and I started to hear this music. Quickly ran to my church where I was working and started playing this music, and then the words came to me.
Yeah.
They just,
Yeah.
this is rare, but it just came to me. It was a story. It wasn't anything I knew. And then I was talking to some of my church mates, and they were telling me about the history of Saugus. This is the city that I was living or working in. And they
Mm-hmm.
said there was an Indian princess that saved all the tribes because her husband and all her children, the boys, got massacred, and she had to save the tribe by floating down the river.
Oh, you
And that
see.
was the vision that I had. It was just
Yeah.
so strange to me because I was like, where is this coming from? But it was on the Saugus River. And that's so I feel like I'm just a conduit. And if my voice can be used, I need to use it. I never really, well, I kind of wanted to be a star.
You are a
like,
star.
but
Yes.
but I've more so. This has always just been what I've always wanted to do was just be able to work and work with great people for my whole life because when we were younger, we saw a lot of the great ones just drop off the planet. They were so self-destructive, and just Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis
Mm.
Joplin. To me that was like I looked at that and I thought, whoa, that's a harbinger of doom. I don't want to go into the music business. I don't want to go. I don't want to
Yeah.
die at 27.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, I didn't put two and two together. Like these people were having terrible, terrible problems in their lives and stuff. I didn't know that part of it, but I just
Well,
saw what I saw.
they're having terrible problems, and at the same time, like if we
Being
look at the business, it is pretty hard. And so again, when we share our music and our deepest feelings, it's why I really always try to create sacred spaces for people to perform and to or to share their music, because it is an honor not only to be a conduit for the divine and the music and the arts that flow through our arteries, more or less, but it's also, I think, as listeners, if we, all of us, learn how to listen deeply, the person who's about to share, whether it's their music or their voice or their artistry or their dance, they dance better, they sing better, depending on the quality of listening in the room, right? And I think that is our responsibility as a community, as a humanity, to really understand that it's not a bling bling scroll my phone and hit the next Spotify playlist, but to say these are people's lives that are behind the art that is basically driving our humanity forward to become more loving, more kind, more caring. Most of the artists, I would say 99.9%, are not ever thinking about dropping a bomb or knifing someone in the subway. I mean, they might be struggling with addiction, but they're definitely the most nonviolent people I know. And if we can remember to honor this role that they have for us, we're going to be better for it as a humanity. Yeah.
Well, I think the music industry saw it in Bob Dylan. He had an incredible power that even he's still alive. He was in an interview and he said, I could never replicate what I did back then. It was a complete like what you would call it, just supernatural. It was just completely supernatural what he did. But the record industry saw how much power he wielded over people, and they harnessed that to make money.
That
they
is
took it.
No, I was just going to say that is a positive, is that the collective, which is a half a century ago, could create those movements. And what I'm hoping is that in this time that we won't be silenced, that we will have people that will dare to bring out these songs and these movements that will lead us to a more peaceful place.
Well, that's been my goal coming through pandemic, with all the bizarre changes we saw even within our communities and how people responded to one another. It was just my motto to keep live music alive and do whatever I could in my own little world to make sure that children learn what that is. What is live music?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I just saw all of a sudden there was this thing for the rest of our lives. And I thought, oh my goodness, I am not going out. I am not going out this way. No. That was kind of an up.
Yeah, no, I wanted to thank you for keeping that more or less a hope alive, for keeping live music present, for supporting kids and communities to, you know, if we don't gather around a fire, we gather around a piano. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing your wisdom and your voice. And I wish you much success on your new album, The Tree of Life. It goes very fast. Yes.
Oh, honey. Well,
yes.
It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, many blessings to you. And to our listeners, remember to share the show with your friends.
Come and visit me on my website, Rebecca Harrold Music. It'd be great to have you pop in.
Will do.
Thank you, Kara.
You're welcome.
I hear you, girl. Woo! All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.